This is Frogtown. This is home.
This is Frogtown. This is home.
This is Frogtown, and this is home.
This is Frogtown. This is home.
This is Frogtown, and it's a tremendously complicated place. This is my home.
This is Frogtown. This is home.
This is Frogtown, and this is home.
This is Frogtown. This is home.
To me, I think it's people I meet.
Obviously, it's the people.
The people.
It's the people who live in Frogtown, history of Frogtown.
One of the most diverse neighborhoods because it had people from all over that moved there from different states, as well as refugees and immigrants that moved there from different countries. Like Frogtown has been a home for a lot of families that are looking to transition.
It is a tremendously diverse part of town, not only racially but also by income. There are a lot of different kinds of people who live in Frogtown, so it makes it really a fascinating place to be.
There's a lot of physical things from the park and farm to the historic housing, but I think what really comes down to it is the mix of people and the fact that it's always been, this kind of hub of an immigrant community, whether that was Germans or Southeast Asians or Africans. I think it's like a place where people come and there's that where people really are living right next to each other and starting businesses and making homes.
Last time I heard, there's 26 languages spoken here in Frogtown, so you can imagine where all that comes from in the world.
How much art was centered? Everything about the Smapl process was unique, organic.
Just from the very beginning, the way that Frogtown Neighborhood Association was thinking about bringing people into the process and creating these really dynamic and community-focused spaces for conversation about what residents wanted to see and what their dreams and visions were for Frogtown was really exciting.
Whether it's the community engagement process with the unity meals, to developing it as a graphic novel, using arts, making it more accessible to people that might not have known about small area plan. I feel like that is what really makes it special, what really makes it significant.
We weren't afraid to be emergent strategists even before we knew what emergent strategy was.
So people can actually use it as a tool to help decide their future instead of it's just a static set of rules that sits there to be used when people feel like it. It's something that people can really engage in, and that as an organization, FNA can really use that to have a real conversation with people about what the future of the neighborhood is going to look like.
Frogtown is a neighborhood association district council that has really powerful relationships in the community. They have a strong base of leaders. They're the leaders and residents that they resident leaders that they actually work with have a real good sense of power.
We are not people who think linearly. We honored the living systems that are within this little piece of earth called Frogtown.
It was a community involvement team. That's really impressive, and that's what people like to do. The vision they had for the community.
The meals that we share, the community meals, and again, it's great to be out with neighbors and all of the different people coming together. The one that really sticks out to me was one that we had in an apartment complex, in the courtyard of an apartment complex over on Rice, and there was just people from all over the world. There was great food and really, really interesting conversations. A lot of age diversity there too, and just hearing people kind of expressing a lot of similar concerns and thoughts and ideas, even though there was a guy from Ecuador and a Hmong family and a Karen family and an older African American gentleman, and everyone's sitting around talking, and they had a lot that they shared as well as their own unique ideas.
To sit down with neighbors, to hear what some of their concerns were, to hear their input on various issues like the arts here, on safety, on housing. It's always fascinating to get together with people who you know and new people you haven't met over the years, to hear what their opinions are about how things really should go in Frogtown.
What I'm hoping is that with this process that we took in collecting people's qualitative stories, We hope that this will continue, and people that do small area plan will continue building off of this momentum that we've created, and continue making it even better for years to come.
It's got breadth. It's accessible to people who either don't have the patience or, the resources to understand and read a government document. It's very, very accessible by all walks of life. Young, old, white, black, Hmong, anybody can see themselves in the Smapl.
What Smapl is really about is making that document alive, bringing it to life, giving it a pulse. And the stories of Frogtown, issues that are happening right now that need work, that are being worked on, loss of affordable housing, displacement, those are issues that need policies and work to develop responses that work for the community. And that's what the blood of Smapl is. That's the pulse of Smapl, is the policies and the community work that will keep it alive.
We used to have this saying at an organization I used to work at over on the north side, and we used to have this thing we called it the bus stop test. And if the document, if the Smapl document was left at a bus stop, or if it was left on a bus, would it be readable? Could people talk about it? Would they have the sort of the curiosity to call the organization or to reach out to the people that are within the document, to ask questions, to emulate it? And that's one thing. That's something that's more of like, how does this document live out in the world or out in the communities? But then there's this other thing of where the people that were involved in it feel like that they can identify it, they can look at it, and they can point to it and say that I was part of this, or this is what this means, or I understand where this is coming from. So it's a document that can grow, but it can also, there's this real representation that comes out for the people that were involved in it. And to me, the living document also is staying power. Like, if this is something that can be represented many years from now as the organization thrives and grows, that's a living document.
And I just think about something Katie Rice said in an early meeting, that this document isn't just for the city. This is meant to be, it's not just something to deliver to the city, but it's meant to be a guiding document for the neighborhood association and for the residents. So I feel like that just stuck with me. That the neighborhood association and everybody involved was committed to this being something that is used every day by the folks who made it.
Smapl being a living document, to me, just means that it's something that, again, isn't just like a set of rules that's written down somewhere, but something that can adapt as the neighborhood adapts. You never know what's going to happen. There could be another housing crash. There could be, housing values could go crazy, and we don't really know what the future is going to bring. And so, something that can adapt to that. So rather than just being this kind of set vision, it's one that is based in values and can be adapted as the conditions change.
The Smapl for me is kind of like defines what I do for the next 10 years as a city planner. Any kind of land use decision, it's a document that we'll have to refer to. And so it'll be living in that way. I think to really make it a really good living document, I think it's going to take more than buy-in from just me, but also from the residents of Frogtown and also our elected officials.
It's an inspired idea to have it be presented in a comic novel format. It makes it easier to digest, easier to get through. But I think the reality is very few people have participated in that process to date. I think what's going to be necessary is, if that's going to be a living document, people have to see it. And that doesn't mean producing 100 copies that are in an office somewhere. I think it means dropping a copy on every one of 5,000 households here, then recognizing that people are going to have issues with some of what is said in there, and that you need to, after people have had a chance to look at it and digest it, and a broader number of people have had an opportunity to see it, that there's similarly an opportunity to get back and say, well, this is what you got right, this is what you've got wrong. If it's a living document, let's change it to reflect what the broader consensus of opinion is here. If it's going to be something that is living, living things change, and they change every day. You can't change it every day, but you can make a regular schedule to make this into something that's truly reflective of a broader group of people, you know, the people who actually live here.
Resource this. This work doesn't happen on its own. We think artists, frequently we can say, oh, artists will come and donate their time. Oh, they'll donate their time. And no, we can't donate our time. Young artists need to be paid just like young teachers need to be paid, or young politicians need to be paid. Projects that are truly grassroots, community-based are almost always the last thing on the list to get funded. You gotta prove you can do it. Your impact and statistics data need to be up to date, and if you don't have that, you don't get resourced. And that's part of the new way of what we have to really demand from the system and from systemic racism, is we're not gonna do it that way. We find new ways of defining what impact is. We define new ways of giving you a grant that doesn't include a 50-page dissertation on community action. We need resourcing of real work in real time.